Hey, how's it going out there, everybody? Hope everybody's having a great day. Welcome to Weekly Recap. I do one of these every week for every load I do. We go over everything. Nothing's taken out. Nothing's omitted. It's all reality-based here. And I'll tell you why I do it. I do it to help people. I do it to give you an example. If you want to be an owner-operator, do not do this to brag in any way. If you make more money than me, God bless you. You should be making more money because it's a hard life out here. And you should be trying to make all you can out of it. So, with that being said, I'll tell you a few things. This is from July 2022. So, if you're watching this in the future, thank you. But I talk about the week. I don't talk about my carrier. I'm leased to an 80-20 split refrigerated carrier, and that's how I like to do things. I'm happy here. If you've got a better deal, congratulations. I don't know. People always trying to convince me to do this and do that. You know, it's like, I don't know. You got to weigh out everything. You know what I mean? Just because your company does this way doesn't mean it's overall what I want, you know? So, just putting that out there for the people that seem to tell me how to live my life and do my business in every chance they get. I never understood that way. You'd sit in there in the keyboard and just wear it out on telling somebody because my thing is I like to give the mega carriers a hard time. The Primes, the CR Englands. I like to give them a hard time. But at the end of the day, if you are at one of those carriers and it works for you, then by all means, you do you. I wouldn't try to convince anybody to not do it. I just want you to know all the facts and how they operate before you go into it. That's all I want. So with that being said, let's talk about this weekly recap. Now at the end, you will hear me say that's the money left to do what I have to do with. That's the money that is left over for me to pay myself, to pay my truck payment, to pay my insurances, that type of stuff. So this is going over variable cost. So let's get after it. Very common week for me here. You guys that watch these all the time, I like to go from Minnesota out, back, be done for a couple days. And that's what this is. This is a 6-day week. I ran this week and then, took a day off, went back at it. So we're looking at a 6-day week here. Keep that in mind. So I went from Minnesota out to Virginia, and then I came up to Maryland, right back to Minnesota. Now, this is probably the third time I have done this particular round trip this year. It's a common route we have. I do it when I need to. It's not particularly the greatest thing in the world, but let me tell you, when rates fall off, these stay pretty much consistent, So that's why, sometimes when you got the kind of freight that not everybody wants to pull, you'll hold good through the down times, and then you'll get undercut by, one of these lesser brokers will come in and snatch it up, So, just keep that in mind. A good way to make money is to do the things no one else wants to do. I used to have a business that cleaned up the nastiest things you could ever imagine, and let me tell you, it paid quite well because no one else really wanted to do it, It was hard finding employees because they didn't want to do it, So a lot of the things I had to go do on my own. But I wasn't afraid of it, because that's job security when you do things that no one else wants to do. So we went, the load out of Minnesota down to Virginia was negative 10 degrees, 62 empty miles, 1209 on the loaded, 1271 on the total miles on that. That load paid $4,200 down to Virginia, and then come up to Maryland, grab my load out of Maryland, back to Minnesota, 28 degrees load, and 55 empty miles on that, 1135 on the loaded, 1190 total, and that pays $3,000 to come back. The first load's 42,000 pound frozen load. The second load is usually 15,000 pounds and under. On that one, it usually ranges from 7 to 15,000. It's usually in that range. So, not too bad. And like I said, that one pays $3,000. So the grand total on the week, $7,200 total gross for the week. My 80% cut of that is $5,760. Not bad. I mean, I'll take it. In this economy, I'll take it. That's 2,461 miles in that. There's 117 empty miles 2,344 loaded miles, 5% deadhead. So, in a down market, that's one thing that you got to watch is your deadhead, because, if you're gonna stick to just strictly the spot market, typically in a down market, there's not as many good loads. So you're going to be driving a lot of deadhead to get those loads, pulling out of bad areas because you don't want to pull freight for $1 a mile. That type of situation is out there. So that left me $2.93 for all miles the truck turned, $2.93. My 80% cut of that is $2.34 a mile, $3.07 on a loaded mile for that. Now, that's not a bad rate. I'll take that all day. Before I go over the variable cost, I want to talk about that a little bit, these loaded miles. I keep seeing these guys on YouTube talking about, well, I'm going to set it out. I'm going to wait it out because I'm not going to haul this broker freight for, $3 a mile or whatever it is, May I suggest it might be time to sell it all. Might be better off just to sell it out, because until the underlying economy gets better, freight rates are not going to get better. And until, they get inflation under control, the economy's not really going to do much better, because they're going to have to keep raising interest rates to try to slow down the economy so that the inflation subsides. Now, I'm no market analyst, and I won't tell you what's coming or what's not coming, but I will tell you, they've said that they're going to keep raising interest rates until inflation gets down to their goal of like 2 or 3%. Well, inflation's at like double digits right now, so I don't see them stop raising interest rates anytime soon. So therefore, let's put some puzzle pieces together and kind of map out, what comes next. Kind of like when you take an aptitude test and it's like, square, triangle, circle, and then it's got another square and then another triangle, and what comes next? Well, if you follow in the pattern, it would be, more interest rate hikes. So just keep that in mind. If you're making YouTube videos talking about, I'm setting it out, I'm waiting it out, I'm not going to haul this broker freight, brokers are ripping us off, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. Maybe time to sell the equipment while it's still worth something, because it sits there for 6 months, a year, whatever it takes for, like brokers to stop ripping you off, and maybe the truck's not going to be worth as much. It's just a little piece of advice. I thought I'd throw it out there for you. It's like, just trying to help, not trying to trigger anybody, just saying, like, I see a lot of it on YouTube, a lot of guys, oh, well, hey, my truck's sitting over there and it ain't going to move until these brokers stop ripping us off. And it's like, well, I don't know. Don't you try to rip the broker off every chance you get? Like, fair game, right? Fair game. Now, I'm not going to defend anybody's action, whether it be brokers or truckers. I'm just telling you, like, it's fair game in an open market. Like, whenever the rates go down, everybody wants to scream and cry about broker transparency. I didn't hear a damn person talking about broker transparency last year when there was $5 mile freight on every corner. It just blows my mind that it's like, it's so obvious. Like, you can't control that stuff. So in business, we control what we can control, which are variable costs. You call around, you get your insurance quotes, you see if you can get better prices on insurance. You double check maintenance on that truck. You want to stay on top of it at this time. It's like, I'll tell you a little secret here. Usually when freight rates get low and start going down, that's when the DOT likes to start nitpicking stuff, because they know you ain't maintaining it as well because you ain't got the money you had. So just keep that in mind. Double check your maintenance, keep everything up and running right. It's only going to pay for itself in the long run. You know what I mean? And honestly, if you're not happy with the freight market the way it is right now, if you can't turn a profit in this current market, by all means, do everyone out here a favor that can turn a profit in this market, and go back and run some contract freight. Go to work for a carrier and go run contract freight or something, because you're not doing yourself or any of us any favors by being out here running freight for, break even. just not. So that's my suggestion that I throw out there. And let's talk about variable costs for the week. I got $1,271 in diesel prices. Now I want to make this clear, go over this, because these prices I list, this is what I bought, not what I used. A lot of people love to get in their feelings about what I spend on diesel. I'm sorry if you get 5 miles per gallon. That's a choice you made. You get that. That's your choice. You live with it. Don't come crying to me telling me that I'm lying and this, that, and the other. There's fleets out here that average over 8 miles a gallon. I had a guy in the comments the other day tell me there is no way a semi-truck gets 9 miles per gallon. It's physically impossible. I didn't even argue with him. I just blocked him for life. Never want to see you again. I'm not here to argue with dummies. I'm not. I'm just not. I'm not. I'm here to have an intelligent conversation if you want to have one. But you got to be based in reality for me to talk about it. You know what I mean? Like you know, like I'm not saying I'm getting 25 miles per gallon going up a mountain all day. You know, I'm averaging like 8.5. It's doable. It's out here. So anyway. These are what I use. Excuse me, I almost flipped it. This is what I bought, not what I used. Thank you. Whew. Oh, about screwed myself on that one. So you know, some weeks like in 1217 on a 2,400 mile week is pretty damn low. But I'll tell you how it works. Right before I went home before this week, I filled the truck up to the tippity top, like right as I ran into the house, because fuel was going down. I was trending down, so I said, hey, just in case it pops up for the weekend, because my next load was going to be leaving out on Monday, I said, you know, instead of, or excuse me, I was going to load it on a Sunday. So I was like, fuel sometimes goes up on the weekend, you know, where I buy fuel. So not by much, a couple pennies here and there, you know, but that's how I get that fuel cost down. You got to nitpick every little penny on it. So I filled it all the way up on the way into the house, and then I ran out, and then I ran back, and again, they were talking about fuel prices were going to go down again, so I did not fill up going into the house this time. Probably come into the house with, you know, probably half a tank, you know, probably 100 gallons less than I left with. So that 1217 is what I bought. That's why when I go over my fuel cost, that's my fuel cost for the week. Now, I try to let everybody know I trend it, you know, so every month now I'm going to start putting out usually a short video. So make sure you're subscribed and notified to get these. But I'll probably start doing a short video that talks about my monthly fuel cost per mile. So, $12.17 on diesel, $3.08 on reefer fuel. My Lord, reefer fuel is the real name of the game this summer. It's going to be interesting to go back and look and see what I spent, but like between like April in September on reefer fuel. It's going to be a tremendous number, you know, probably like, I don't even know, $300-400 a week times 20 weeks. I mean, we could be getting close to, you know, $8,000-10,000 on reefer fuel for the summer. I mean, unbelievable numbers like you've never seen before. $40 on DEF fluid, $400 on tolls. I think that was like $390 something. I was not in the mood to do math when I wrote all this down, so it's an even $400. That's a round to the upside. $15 on parking, $13 on a scale. That is what I spent variable cost on this week. Let's bring over my $57.60. My 80%. We subtract the $19.93. That is what I spent on variable costs this week. We subtract that out. That leaves $3,767. I subtract $500 for my maintenance fund. That leaves me $3,267 left to do what I have to do with. $32.67 left to do what I have to do with. Weekly fuel costs this week, 49 cents a mile. Fuel is trending back down right now. So, you know, the end of July 2022 is looking a little better than the beginning. You know, we're starting to trend downward. You know, minus ifta, I'm starting to get some fuel under $4 a gallon again, which is nice. You know, so that's how it is, guys. That's the weekly recap. Thanks everybody for watching. Be sure to touch me down below on the like and the subscribe. Get after it down there. And until later, take care of each other. People are more important than trucking. I always say, bye.